name is Orlando Rivera, but my complete name is Jose Orlando Rivera Rolon. That's my given name because in Puerto Rico, where I come from, we use both the last name of the father and of the mother. In some other countries, that is true also. Not here, no. So, you can call me Jose, you can call me Orlando, or you can call me Pastor, which is a lot easier. The last time I was here, about 4 months ago, I think it was, I had a chance to tell you a little bit about me. I just mentioned I am from Puerto Rico, and I've been in the retired relationship now for almost 10 years, but still serving as a pastor until this last June, actually, that I was a pastor at Barstow United Methodist Church. And I thank Martin for inviting me back, even if it is on a sad situation as it is, as a death of a family member. As you know, he's in San Francisco, taking care of a memorial. Shall we pray? And now, dear God, we ask that you provide a message for us today, and that you help us to get ready to participate of your Holy Supper. In the name of Jesus. Amen. A few years ago, Yolanda, my wife, and Yolanda usually comes with me when I preach. But today she had to stay home because we are having company for lunch. So you will excuse me after worship, but I will need to fly back to Victorville. I will not be able to stay for fellowship today, so excuse me. But a few years ago, Yolanda and I decided to take Huguito and Casaya. Those are the names of our older grandchildren. Casaya now is 24. Huguito is now almost 20. But at the time, they were about 12 and 6, 7. And we decided to take them to fish. They had never been gone fishing before, so this was going to be their first fishing experience. Now, as many of you fishermen here in Temple City know, there are many places in Southern California where you can go fishing, including a lake in San Bernardino, the piers that you find on some of the beaches, and Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, Santa Monica Beach. You can fish from the pier. And you can also go to a fish pond. We decided to go to the fish ponds that are on the road to Mount Baldy. I don't know if any of you have been there, because it was close to where we were living at the time. We were living in the city of Claremont, and most important, there were plenty of fish in the ponds. We wanted Casaya and Huguito to catch a fish at least, and we knew that they could catch something on those ponds, and they did. Now we have a story about fishing in the gospel reading for today. It must have been just after dawn on the shores of the Sea of Galilee when Jesus began to teach the crowds that had been assembled early in the morning away from the city. The people must have been searching for something that was missing in their lives. Whatever the people were looking for, something was missing in their lives. Maybe they were searching for acceptance, or perhaps they were looking for love in so many places, as the song goes. Maybe they were looking for a purpose for their lives. Whatever they were looking for, they must have found that in Jesus' words. So they followed him wherever he went and listened to his teaching. You know, people are very much the same today. All week long, we are fed a steady diet of political rhetoric. Have you heard any lately? Green war news, financial crisis, scandals all over. Surely there must be a place where we can go to have our spirits fed and our hopes renewed with Jesus' words. 7 days without encouragement can make one weak. W-E-A-K. I think that is one reason why you are here today. One reason why people come to church. So, Jesus was there on the shore, speaking to hurting people just like us. And because the crowd was so large, and the people were pressing on him, he jumped into Simon Peter's boat, asking to move it a little away from the shore, and continued to preach from the boat. When the sermon ended and the crowd began to dissipate, Jesus said to Peter, "Push out deeper into the water and let's go fish." Deeper water. Jesus called Peter into deeper water. Have you ever been called into deeper water? Have you ever been promoted at work, but the job seems to be beyond what you can do? You're not certain if you are going to make it. That's deep water. Or you're playing sports at a higher level than ever before, and all the athletes seem better than you. That's deeper water. You're involved in a relationship, as we all do sooner or later, and things seem to be getting serious, maybe headed toward marriage, and it scares you. That's deeper water. You see, in this life, every time we make a change, every time we take a step, every time we move into a new direction, that's deeper water. It's always risky, never a sure thing. When Jesus suggested deeper water, Peter's mind was full of excuses. Excuses as to why he could not or should not do what Jesus was saying. But he decided to obey and move the boat to the place where he was pointing. Right away, the fishes in the net were so plentiful that they were afraid that the net was going to break and had to call another boat from the shore to load all the fish they had caught. It was then that Peter recognized that he was in the presence of someone special. This was not an ordinary fisherman. This was God in the flesh. Peter, who was not a particularly religious man, felt embarrassed. "Get away from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." The story concludes with the most wonderful promise from Jesus to Peter. "Follow me, and I will teach you to fish for people." And that promise has been spoken to believers of every generation since Peter. Go out to the deeper water, and I will show you how to fish for people. Now, let me ask you, have you ever wondered how people find their way to church? Have you ever wondered how people come to church for the first time? Several years ago, the National Council of Churches, which is now directed by a son-in-law of mine, his name is Jim Winkler. Well, the National Council of Churches conducted a study to answer that question, and the results were surprising. 2% of the people come to church for the first time because they have a specific need. Maybe somebody died. Maybe they have plans to get married. Or perhaps they are interested in having their children baptized. It is true that people navigate back to church at 3 pivotal times in their lives. They call them when someone is hatched, when someone is matched, and when someone is dispatched. In other words, baptism, marriage, and death. Maybe that's how you found your way to this church, and you liked it, and here you are. 3% come to a church because they just walked in. 3%. Maybe the new building was inviting, or the sign was funny, and it was somebody that got lost and needed directions. Whatever. A whopping 6% come and stay because of the sermon of the pastor. Wow! 6%. In spite of all the attention and advertising we preachers give to our sermons, only a small fraction are drawn to the church because of this. No matter how good a preacher your pastor is, only 6% will come in. 5% come because of Sunday school, Christian education for their children. 1% come because of door-to-door evangelism. There goes that. 1%. 0.5% come because of a crusade of evangelism, either in your neighborhood or on TV. You know, Billy Graham, like when he used to preach. Morris Cerullo, ever heard about him? Or anybody else? Less than 1%. But overwhelmingly, the most common reason for people coming to church is because someone else invited him or her. Anybody wants to guess what percentage is that? I'll tell you. 79%. 79% begin attending a local congregation because someone whom they know and trust said to them, "Why don't you come to church with me today? Or next Sunday? I go to this church and I know you're going to love it." And they come. Maybe that was you. Somebody invited you, and you became part of the family of the church. But most of us become so comfortable with our friends and relations that we never do that. Why don't you try, at least once, to invite their church to come with you? You need to know that when you do that, you are fishing where there are no fish. In other words, we need to open up our eyes to the deeper water that surrounds us. Like Jesus, we need to look for those searching for what is missing in their lives. Those looking for God's acceptance and love. Those that are trying to find meaning and purpose for their lives. Those are the fish. Those in your circle of influence that you know are lost and looking for spiritual direction. Those are the fish. Jesus still has a powerful message for them, except that Jesus has you to deliver that message. The water's too deep for you? Having trouble sharing the message? Just invite them to church on Sunday. You do not need to preach to them. Leave that to the preacher. Just invite them to church. Make the invitation. And like Peter, you may be fishing quite a bit of lives into the life of Jesus. Now, my dear sisters and brothers, as you come forward today to participate of this Holy Communion that we will be sharing in a few minutes, decide to put your life, yourself, at God's disposal. Allow Jesus to use you as an instrument to reach other people for God's kingdom. You may be as surprised as Peter and as Huguito and Casaya of how many fish you can catch. Share your faith. Invite someone to church. Oh dear God, we ask your direction as we follow your lead. In the name of Jesus, we will obey.